When it comes to the government funding bill, it looks like Republican lawmakers and maybe even Donald Trump have soured on House Speaker Mike Johnson. And now there are even some calls to replace him. Now, of course, Donald Trump, with the help of the new government efficiency group, advisory group known as DOGE, of course, which is led by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, are looking to cut spending on certain programs. And apparently there was an initial version of the government funding bill that didn't go far enough. And so Donald Trump scrapped it. And now they're kind of trying to figure out, all right, well, how are we gonna do this? How do we move forward? What is the bill going to look like? But because of the fact that this was the initial bill that Mike Johnson had co-signed on, people have soured on him, okay? So this all started when members of the House Freedom Caucus, these are the very far-right Republicans in the House of Representatives, started speaking out against Mike Johnson for failing to chop spending for the government funding bill. And then Senator Rand Paul jumped in. Now he identifies as a libertarian, but of course caucuses with the Republicans, and he says, the Speaker of the House need not be a member of Congress. Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk. Think about it, nothing's impossible, not to mention the joy of seeing the collective establishment, AKA Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds. Yes, exactly. Like nothing would make us lose our minds or make the establishment lose its mind more than a billionaire at the reins, right?
Ooh, don't hurt him too much, okay? Putting the world's richest man in charge of the entire government seems so populist. And I'm never gonna stop cracking up at the word Doge. Like he named it after his own cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
it's like the
meme coin.
Yeah, it's like the biggest ad for Elon Musk, and everybody's just saying it's like if Bernie won and we named the largest government commission, the Yellow Tigers. TYT, what? Okay, so
look, there have been some proposals or alleged proposals from DOGE coming out. So cutting funding to, I'm not even kidding, cutting funding to pediatric cancer research, stuff like that. That's not a good look. And by the way, I mean, if Donald Trump is smart, and I think that when it comes to this issue, he's actually being pretty strategic in certain areas, especially when it comes to wanting to eliminate the debt ceiling. But think about how easy it would be for Democrats to campaign on that. Republicans cut pediatric cancer research from the government funding bill.
Yeah, let alone when they try to cut Social Security, which I've heard a lot of right-wing hosts start to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of disasters out there. We'll see how savvy Trump is in avoiding those. And by the way, I mean, look, if you don't know, anybody can be Speaker of the House. You don't have to be a member of Congress. So it's not, that one they're not crazy about. They could pick Elon to be the Speaker of the House because he's not busy at all. I mean, he's running the entire government cutting project, which is the US budget, and Tesla and SpaceX and 4 other companies. But sure, yeah, have him run the whole country. Why not?
Well, looks like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is in favor of this. She responded to Rand Paul and says that she'd be open to supporting Elon Musk for Speaker of the House. DOGE can only truly be accomplished by reining in Congress to enact real government efficiency. The establishment needs to be shattered just like it was yesterday. This could be the way. Now, there is a very real possibility that the government could shut down if they don't reach an agreement by Friday night. So as of Saturday morning, 12:01 a.m., if they don't have a bill, the government will shut down. And on the possibility of a government shutdown, here's what Donald Trump has to say. If there's going to be a shutdown, we're going to start it with a Democratic president, essentially saying, well, people are gonna blame Biden for it. I don't even know where Biden is, to be honest with you. I think most people know that at the moment, even though he hasn't even been inaugurated yet, Donald Trump is effectively serving as president. It's insane.
What's hilarious about Trump is how he just admits things that he shouldn't admit.
No, but I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, it's accidentally helpful, right? Like he's like, oh, we're gonna try to blame it on Biden, even though I'm the one obviously shutting down the government. Okay, and yeah, to your point, Biden's in outer space, brother. Okay, so
and everyone knows it.
Yeah, you think Biden's making decisions? Even the Democrats now admit, as you'll see later in the show, they're like, yeah, out to lunch, can't make decisions, nothing. So he doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Asked if he is still confident in House Speaker Mike Johnson, Trump responded by saying, we'll see. The funding deal they had yesterday was unacceptable, referring to the speaker's continuing resolution. In many ways, it was unacceptable. It's a Democrat trap.
It's a Democrat trap. That's hilarious. Okay, so, but look, that gets, no, here, but I will explain that. I know what he's talking about, even though it's a hilarious way of putting it. So this is the biggest drama of the next 4 years. What's going to happen when MAGA and the Uniparty clash? Now, on some things, I agree more with the establishment. For example, if they go to cut Social Security and the establishment says no, I might despise the establishment, but I agree with them on that policy, right? And so, but if MAGA says let's cut the Pentagon, then I agree with MAGA on that policy, right? So it depends. But the Uniparty generally views this all as like a joke. Oh, Trump won, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same things we've always done, but we're just going to give even more tax cuts to the rich and corporations and cut spending even more, and that's it. And we're going to call it a day, and everybody knows this, right? But still, things are going exactly as we want them to. And some people in MAGA, and MAGA's not a monolith. It's an interesting,
we're talking
group
about
of people that have different interests.
Yes.
Some of whom don't play traditional politics at all.
A lot of whom voted for Bernie Sanders in 2016, right?
Some of whom did, yeah.
So there is a mix, and so I would not make the mistake of considering them a monolith. A lot of them are against the forever wars or US involvement in conflicts abroad. That's something I agree with them on. So things are weird and changing, and it's kind of hard to parse it out, but Cenk is right about that.
Yeah, so if it's not business as usual though, what happens? Because if Trump does the popular parts of MAGA, that's the ones that the populist left and right agree on, cutting the Pentagon, being anti-war, anti-corruption, et cetera. Anti-corruption is way too much to ask for, right? But does some of the popular proposals that they have, even including ones we don't like on immigration, for example, right? Well, that'll work and he will become more and more popular. But if he goes, oh no, I'm not gonna do the Uniparty thing, instead I'm gonna go way more extreme and I'm gonna cut programs that people love and go, there you go, I got the debt under control. Some portions of MAGA will love that. Huge portions will love that. Go, we finally cut, the education is gone, Social Security's hacked away and all this different things. But some portions of MAGA are gonna go, wait, did you just cut my Social Security? Did you just cut my Medicare? Get your government hands off my Social Security and Medicare. Right?
In fact, something that I was noticing, now obviously this is anecdotal, and so I'd like to see some, look, we've seen polling on how Americans, including Republicans, feel about Social Security, and it is the third rail of politics because Republicans do not want Social Security to be cut. And I'm talking about the voters, I'm not talking about the lawmakers. And so there were a few posts about how, oh, looks like Republicans are eyeing cuts to Social Security. And it was like MAGA comments about like, Trump said he wasn't gonna cut Social Security. He promised. So like, it will hurt him electorally. Well, I mean, with his approval rating.
So it's so interesting because like within MAGA, there are some of the right-wing hosts that are now, even including Dave Smith, who I really respect, who's a libertarian who not usually, just a lot of times agrees with progressives like us, right? But he's for cutting Social Security. I'm like, go ahead, brother, see how that turns out for you, okay?
Don't do it.
It's gonna be a disaster. But I don't think that even though some conservative hosts or libertarian hosts or MAGA hosts say cut Social Security, I think when it gets to Trump, Trump's gonna be like, oh, so you want me to be unpopular? No
That's
deal.
right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but I don't know, and that's why it's an interesting mess. And remember, among the people that voted for MAGA, probably the most important people are the non-MAGA people that voted for Trump. The people who are worried about border crime, economy, inflation, et cetera, and they just want to change, right? So those people are the first out the door when you do something deeply unpopular, right?
Yep.
So if they go to do the cuts that they've always dreamed of, I think they're gonna run into a buzzsaw with some big portions of their own voters, let alone the rest of the country, that they don't expect. Because remember, everybody's in their bubble. So we've got our own bubble on the left, but on the right, they think the whole country's MAGA. They don't get that half the country is not at all MAGA, right? So they're like, what do you mean? Everybody wants to cut the Department. If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.